Hi, I'm Debbie Nelson with Nixene Publishing. I am representing the United States office over here in Mississippi, actually, and I'm part of the Nixene Journal team. I serve as editor and also project manager. Today, we have the opportunity to introduce you to our editor in chief, Adrian Nixon, and be able to find out a little bit about him and graphene and why it's so important. Adrian, welcome.
Thank you, Debbie. Nice to talk to you, all the way from Yorkshire in England.
Yes. So I wanted to find out from you, what is it that you have done in your life that's brought you to this point where you're so involved in graphene and talking about how it applies to just about everything on Earth? And how did you get the name that, well, we call you Captain Graphene, and how did that come about?
Okay, well, I'll come around to that one. How did I get here? Well, I'm originally a scientist, an industrial chemist. I trained with the Royal Society of Chemistry, so I took the Royal Society of Chemistry exams, which is basically an honours degree in chemistry, but it has a very practical bias to it as well. They don't do that particular type of exam anymore now. But that led me into working for a chemical company. So I spent probably about 13, 14 years with a proper job, wearing a white coat and going into customers' sites, solving problems. They put me in charge of QC, quality control, to start off with. Then I moved into technical service in the paper industry. And they found out I was rather good at solving problems, so they sent me out to customer sites where I'd support the sales force, and had a great time being picked up, put down on planes, different countries, and all the way around the world, going into customer sites and these paper machines. Some of the viewers will probably be familiar with paper making, but this stuff is done on a vast scale. Some of these machines are half a kilometre long and probably 30, 40 metres high, and they're making paper at speeds of well over meters per second speeds, and tons per hour. So it's big stuff, quite challenging, but it used all my brain cells, which is quite good. As a result of doing that, solving problems, I found I was inventing things, and then that led me to create some patents for the company I work for. And then they moved me from technical service to manage the R&D laboratory, and I started to get more experience in running R&D, which was great fun because I love science. Then I did an MBA, and then moved up into management and moved out of the scientific field, so I had to take off my white coat. Then company got taken over. Cut a long story short, I left there and then went to work for management consulting. Again, being picked up, put down all over the world, this time just in people's offices, and doing strategy, business consulting, mucking about with spreadsheets, that sort of thing. And I did that for a little while, then left because I got a bit bored, and then set up my own company in 2002, Nixor Limited, doing strategy, business consulting for private clients. And so it's private businesses, third sector in the UK is charity, non-profits, a little bit of public sector work. And did that, I still do a little bit of that, but I did that up until about 2015, but I was getting a bit bored of it, and the call of science was pulling me back. And I found out more about graphene. I went along to a Café Scientifique, and one of the professors at Manchester was talking about this new wonder material called graphene, and I'd heard about it, and that sort of lured me in, and we started to get talking about all the problems that were fiddling around with graphene, how to make it, and my problem-solving technical service and R&D days kicked in back in again. I thought, this is fun.
Yeah.
And the problems that he was talking about weren't really that hard. And all of a sudden, I was beginning to realize that perhaps I could see ways of solving these problems that other people couldn't, which led me into writing about graphene. And I wrote for a blog, a financial blog in Canada, so which put together my business skills with my science skills, called Investor Intel. And that got me started, got me noticed by the Manchester crowd. I started to get more and more involved with them, talking about graphene on the business side. And the next thing I realized is that we're starting to write regular articles, and this turned into probably about 2016, 2017, suddenly realized with a group of people around me that we've got something here which could form a journal. And before we knew it, in 2017, we'd formed a publishing company, we had a proper journal, and all of a sudden I've got a proper job again almost. And we're now producing the Nixene Journal. And looking back now, sort of three and a bit years, we've got a fully functioning journal and we're one of the respected voices in the graphene world, talking about the science, the business of graphene. And I keep pinching myself thinking, how the heck did this happen? So yeah, it's fun. Yeah, that's in a nutshell roughly what went on. The Captain Graphene thing,
Yeah.
this is, yeah, okay. So I worked with a bunch of colleagues. There's Neil Moon, Nigel Cliff, Rob Whieldon, and Debbie Nelson. And there's a bunch of others as well that we sort of co-opted in and around. They have a wicked sense of humour. And they've decided to just sort of come up with a superhero name for me. And that turned out to be Captain Graphene, which was their nickname for me. And it's sort of stuck. And I've tried to stop everybody from using it. But you lot are evil and just carrying on using it. So I think it's not going to go away for the moment.
No, I don't think it will. You seem to know everything about it or be able to explain it to people so clearly, and that's what's so important.
Well,
Because
the fun thing for me is if I can explain something in a way that somebody else can understand, it means I understand it better. That's where I'm coming from, really.
well, we have the best slogan with it being, clarity from complexity, and the world graphene and 2D materials. So you take it and make it very understandable, which really helps because they need to know.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, there's a lot of confusion about graphene, and we find explaining this stuff fun. And actually, I'm having a ball of a time. I think you're having fun too, aren't you? And all the others are as well.
Definitely so. Well, thank you so much. It's great talking with you this morning, and we'd be able to get this introduction. And we'll be back to talk some more about graphene and what it is and all its wonderful features. So thank you so much, Adrian.
Thank you, Debbie. That was fun.